Hello, Dr. Joe here. Now, in today's video, you're going to discover 4 inexpensive medical tests that you should be doing to protect your heart, but are probably skipping. That is what we're going to be talking about. Now, I will hazard a guess that about 90% of you folks out there have done none of these 4 tests that we're going to be talking about. The other 10% probably done maybe 1 or at best 2 of these tests. So we shall find out in the later part of this video which category you belong to. Now, here is something you should know. Coronary heart disease is largely a metabolic problem. It is a complication of metabolic dysfunction. And the first of these 3 tests that we're going to be talking about, tests 1, 2, and 3, they're designed to assess your risk of developing coronary heart disease. And here's the thing, if your risk is judged to be high, then of course you're going to take preventative measures to reduce that risk. That is what tests 1, 2, and 3 are all about. And test number 4 is designed to let you know if you have already developed coronary heart disease. So it promises to be interesting, and we're going to see how this pans out. So let's get started. What is test number 1? Well, test number 1 is that very popular hormone that you know about, and it is insulin, but not as you know it, okay? Not as you know insulin. So what type of insulin am I talking about? Let's have a little look at that. We focus a lot on blood sugar tests, which is okay, but blood sugar tests alone are missing a key ingredient in diabetes management. And that key ingredient is insulin resistance. What we doctors forget is insulin resistance develops years before diabetes is diagnosed. So your blood sugar tests may be normal in the early stages of insulin resistance. So how do you discover that problem ahead of time? Well, it is by doing fasting insulin levels. A high fasting insulin level suggests you are insulin resistant, even if your fasting blood sugar is normal, for instance. And you can use the test to know if you have truly reversed your insulin resistance if you are already diabetic. Fasting insulin blood tests costs less than $30. So what is test number 2? Well, test number 2 is apolipoprotein B, otherwise called ApoB. So what is the business of ApoB with heart disease? The second test, which is ApoB, detects how much apolipoprotein B you have floating in your blood. This apolipoprotein B is a carrier for cholesterol in the body. Most people with high cholesterol usually have high ApoB. However, there is a small segment of the population who have high cholesterol but have low apolipoprotein B. If you belong to this group, then you don't have to lose too much sleep over your high cholesterol, meaning you can lower your cholesterol gradually. How much for the ApoB test? Well, it costs less than $75. And what about test number 3? What is it? Well, it is lipoprotein little a, LP little a. That's the short form of it. So what is this lipoprotein little a all about? I talked about this lipoprotein little a test a couple of weeks ago. Why is this test important? Well, for 2 reasons. The first reason is that 20% of the population are carrying this cholesterol carrying protein gene mutation because it is a gene mutation. The second reason is that this nasty lipoprotein accelerates damage to your arteries if you have it. The good news is you only need to do this test only once in your lifetime, unlike the ApoB test. How much does the lipoprotein little a test cost? Less than $50. And what is test number 4? Well, test number 4 is coronary artery calcium scan, otherwise called CAC scan. So what is this CAC scan all about? The first 3 tests are designed to assess your risk of coronary heart disease. This coronary artery calcium scan test, however, tells you if your arteries are clogged already,
because it looks at whether you have plaques in your coronary arteries. It is a non-invasive test with very little radiation. If the test says your arteries are clean, then your risk of heart attack is less than 1% for many years to come. How much for the coronary artery calcium scan? Well, less than $200.
Okay, just before we continue, a quick plug. This is my book on managing high blood pressure with lifestyle approach. Links to get the book right below this very video. So, as you folks saw there, these tests, they are relatively inexpensive. Whatever amount of money that you spend on these very tests is worth it, because it's all about protecting your heart. Don't forget, the #1 killer in the West is still heart disease, and you don't want to join that very crowd. So, which of these tests have you done, or what category do you belong to? The 90% who haven't done any of these tests, or the 10% who's done maybe one or at best two? Do let me know in the comment section. And hopefully you got some value from this very video. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. Please like the video, and also please share this video with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues. Any questions, any comments, leave them down below. I think that's it for this very video. Until next time, well, this is Dr. Joe signing out.